time is nigh. Open up your eyes to see the signs of the times. Got to be wise to all of their lives. Look to the skies from where my help comes. Wake up, got to wake up from the slumber. Don't let them pull you under. Rise up off the water. Never let them wrestle you into the mud.
Yes, wait, hold up. Greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, Empress Rosera Menin. Y'all already know, one perfect balance. Greetings and welcome to Politically Incorrect, where we get it correct. And if we not correct, feel free to correct us. What does it say? Warning for live videos. Okay. Don't know the symbol that one there. All right. Trying to find out what's going on in the lab. Yes, okay. So yes, Malcolm, it's a little later than we had discussed exclusively. You're probably sleeping by now. Unfortunately, man, there's never a dull moment. Yeah. I'm not getting on my live. It's telling me that there's no signal, which is weird because I like to think that I'm actually on the live right now. Anyhow, came home to a disconnected Digicel data service. So I had to finagle something here in order to be able to go live. And that's why I'm a little later than I expected, because the plan was to be on here earlier as per requested. But like I said, boy, it's never a dull moment. Digicel, boy. Anyhow, I will address that issue tomorrow. The financial aspect, they don't give a brother a day. Like, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got no problem disconnecting the service. You know, Digicel is quite interesting though. And I'm beginning to realize this thing is a whole different level, man. Like I said before, it's a conspiracy. It's a deliberate conspiracy to defraud the people of the Caribbean, specifically, you know, certain islands. Like, so it's in Vincent, for example, Haiti, Jamaica. I think Guyana is the other one. I think those are the main ones right there. St. Vincent, Jamaica, Haiti, and Guyana. Barbados, the CEO of Digicel, you got some questions to answer, man. I hope somebody send you this, or you send your husband this, or whichever one of y'all get it first, because I know. But anyhow, that's another conversation for another time. But to give you all a view of that, imagine that, like I said, they don't have no protocols in place for these islands. Although there's Digicels in these other islands, imagine that when you sign up for one of these Digicel plans, right? Anywhere minutes or they got listed UK, landline only, America, and Caribbean. But what they don't tell you, this is the fraud. I gotta do a whole program on this though. Not tonight, but let me give you a little overview. This is the fraud. They advertise you can call the Caribbean until you start to call the Caribbean. There's some Caribbean islands you can't call. But you can call the island, but the plan that you sign up on that says Caribbean isn't really the Caribbean. They advertise Caribbean, but it's Caribbean except certain islands. So here in Barbados, where we have a large Vincentian population, we have a pretty decent large Jamaican population, pretty large Haitian population, even a Guyanese population. Ironically, these are the islands that Digicel do not allow you to call direct on those anytime plans, anywhere Caribbean minutes. You know what I'm saying? And that's not by accident. I'm sure it's not by accident. But anyhow, put that one aside. Welcome again, family. So wireless surveillance or invasion of privacy. We got some things to discuss tonight. Plain and simple. Just plain and simple. I ain't even going. You know, I was on here early trying to get it done. The system was down for a while. I was trying to figure out what it was. But when I really check it out, it was only mine. Yeah, so they had shut me down. But anyhow, I managed to finagle something, did my MacGyver thing, you know, run a wire on the ground 4 houses away and plug into theirs, you know what I mean? Anyhow, put that one aside. Welcome again. So we got a few things happening, including vertical farming. Stay tuned tonight, family. We're going to discuss this new project by the Ministry of Agriculture called vertical farming by this new company that somehow, well, kind of only started a few months ago. Nevertheless, they're here in Barbados, and I think is worth looking into. Since the minister is talking about food security, that's one of my personal things I'm interested in. I don't know if it's a case if he's aware of it or not, but I think I personally think that
somebody advising you wrong.
I just think somebody's advising him wrong. That's just my 2 cents. But nevertheless, we're going to take a look at this new idea. And we're also going to discuss something that kind of happened before, but we're going to take a different look at it. And I'll tell you why I'm taking a different look at it, because something got to give when it comes to the police force in Barbados. Something got to give. And I'm going to push for this in ways, man, I've never pushed before, man. But something really got to give. So we're going to take a look at some stuff here, 1 or 2 older videos, and we're going to take a look at this from another angle. Because when I look at it from another angle, I start to ask questions. I start to ask some questions. So I'm just going to pull something up real quick, and y'all can tell me what y'all think about it. In the meanwhile, I just going to go ahead and try to sip my little sip on some cappuccino, you know. But anyhow, I can rest that right there. Tim, I see you, Tim. Good night to you too. Greetings. Yo, can you believe it already, family? It's Friday. First, let me say, for those who celebrate today as a sacred day, Shalom, Shabbat, you know, Assalamu alaikum, peace, you know, Islam to the Islamic community, the Moors. I also want to say Namaste, you know what I'm saying, Hotep to those in the conscious community. I also want to say Kidamari, I'm use Kidamari, man. Kidamari, for those brethren and sisters in the Rastafari community. And I also want to say love and light to everybody else tuning in tonight, regardless of where you are. Just share love and then share your light, man. That's all we could ever ask you for. You know what I'm saying? Like the brothers in the East, they say, you know, the Namaste, seeing that God inside of you, that divine source. We give thanks and praise always, man. I see Sean saying, greetings, Emmanuel PM is showing her true colors every day. Why do you all keep saying that, Sean? She's not showing her true colors. What do you mean she's showing her true colors? Miss Martley is only the manager. She is only the manager. She ain't showing no colors. She is doing what she's been hired to do. You know, Barbados, like most other places, function off of the Westminster doctrine, and you know, we on a colony/country. The problem is we don't know what that means. We don't have a clue what that is and what the status of what our status is. We don't. So because of our ignorance, we're destroyed for lack of knowledge. Good evening, Rastaman. You're on. NBC final is on. Oh, the NBA final is on. I'll deal with you. I'll deal with your show. Okay, the NBA finals is on tonight. Yeah, I remember days when I used to tap into that, man. I understand, man, but we know better now, man. No matter which team wins, the NBA still take home the money. I'm just saying. And once we figure it out, we figure it out. Did you sell on floor poor service for the money? Not just even the service, don't get me wrong at all, man. But when you can recognize, if you did a poll of Barbados population, you're going to see we have a large Vincentian population here. A large group of Haitians are here, definitely a large group of Jamaicans, and also Guyanese. But ironically, Sean, when you buy one of those plans where you can call America, USA, Canada, call Europe, landlines only, and they specifically said landlines only, but when it comes to say Caribbean. So Caribbean people buy into this plan, and they call it Caribbean, only to get a bill. And it's like, wait, well, how this happened? Well, they tell me you can call anywhere in the Caribbean. Not quite anywhere. We didn't tell you that part. I tell you, man, again, we allow these things because we don't have the knowledge necessarily to set up networks on our own. But we're getting there. Start disassociating ourselves from these networks. But we assume there's only 2 of them, and that's not true. The other private people, I know one guy who he has a private network. He sells packages to different, mostly businesses. But I'm sure it's something worth looking into. Greetings to you too, Daffodil. Greetings. Listen, go tell a friend to tell a friend, family. Ivor, good night, family. Sorry for being so late. Like I said, man, came home to no service, man. None. I thought it was just a little temporary something. I waited when I realized, man, they clipped my wings, man. They said, you got to pay money. You got to pay. You got to pay. You owe us. You owe us. You got to pay. Anyhow, family, give thanks for tuning in for those who patient enough. And my good people down there by Spring Garden, I can leave it at that. I owe y'all so much, man. So much for this evening. Like, you don't even know it. You don't even know it, man. Like, for real. Like, that just put a whole different spin on things, man. The level of respect. And I give thanks for all of you. You know, I won't call your names. Y'all know who y'all are. But y'all don't even know, man. I just give thanks. Oh, and his sister and said thanks too, by the way. Family is family. Good night. Greetings to all on this Sabbath day. Greetings to you too, Aaron. How you keeping, man? Knowledge is power that can't be abused. Seriously, speaking of knowledge and abuse, we're going to touch on some stuff tonight. And I ain't even going to waste some more time. We're going to jump right into it here, Ivor. You know, I could start. I want to start with this video. Yeah, I'm going to start with this video right here. And the Spirit said go with this one. So we go with this one. Okay, so because my service was off, let me just put it that way. Although I had started the system, all the pages are out. Like, you know, so I got to finding stuff now is a little crazy because I got to know, I have to reload in order to see what it is, in order to know what it is. So let me mute this, otherwise it's going to be going off. There you go. Yeah. So let me start with this one right here. This ought to be interesting. This ought to be very interesting. I want to play this one on purpose. This is where we're going to start tonight. I know this is going to ruff some feathers, man, but rough we must rough. Let's add this to the stage one time. So this Superintendent Christine Stanford, I met this lady, pretty positive vibes, nevertheless. And again, I want to shout out to the establishment, the constabulary, those good folks amongst them that are doing the work that they were. I don't want to say hired to do, because that's not what they're hired to do. I think they're good people who join to make sure that there's some degree of checks and balance. But I'm gonna say this now, man, the checks and balance, y'all got your hands full, and y'all gonna have to step up in a different way. And I'm just saying that. I'm just saying, and I'm gonna show you why you got to step up in a different way tonight. But let me play this video first. Then we're going to touch on it. All right? Take a listen to this, man.
We could not have discussed key components without looking at benefits of community policing, such as reducing crime rate, improving public trust. We heard that word trust a lot already for the evening. Greater community involvement, and reducing public community conflicts. Strong relationships and trust between police and the public have always been important. As we look at the situation around the member states, and we can say the world, but I will stay within the member states, it is quite clear that trust between police and public has become even more essential to effective policing. Policing in these times require that we find effective and efficient ways to carry out our core mission, which is to protect and serve. Hence, whilst fighting crime, we must treat people with what? Respect. Thank you. For me, the key to treating people with respect must deal with having the mindset to provide quality service. Generally, a lot of what we do in policing has very little to do with fighting crime, but a great deal to do with maintaining peace, order, and protecting people. For example, refereeing neighbors who are having a dispute over a property line or a tree branch hanging over on the other neighbor's property. How many of you dealt with similar situations? There you go. The good news is that for the past 20 years or even more, we have made great strides in implementing community policing strategies. We engage our neighbors, our communities, and build ties between police and neighborhoods. However, we cannot be like the proverbial cow that will give us a good bucket of milk and then kick it down by the way we treat people and providing inadequate customer service.
Proverbial cow, give you a bucket of milk and then kick it down. Listen, family, one of the main things this presentation spoke about was trust. In order to deal with the community, trust. And they acknowledge that there's a very strong, important relationship that's necessary, which is trust. Now, I don't want to play God's advocate unnecessarily for Miss Stanford, but I want to say this. I'm sure she's aware of it. As she said, she could say the world, but she's going to say the member states. Well, the region, basically. Well, let me say this and be very clear on it, right? Depending on which community you go in, and I'm sure she knows this. I'm sure they all know it. Depending on which community you go in, there is, in some cases, absolutely little or absolutely no trust when it comes to the constabulary, when it comes to the policy enforcers. When you come to certain communities, I'm going to say that again, so people don't run with my words and try to twist it. You know how it is. There's no trust. They do not trust police, full stop. Even the ones that claim they're good. Well, they don't necessarily claim they're good. Because there are a lot of ones amongst that. There's a lot of, the reason why they have to even say this in the first place, because they themselves know that they're amongst them, there's some bad apples. There's a whole lot of bad apples, man, for whatever reason. And the reality is, the people see that y'all can't do much about it because they figure if you could do something about it, you would. But I don't know if the constabulary is going to have to grow a fresh set of testicular, fortitude to be able to deal with the reality of what is here. And why am I saying this? Because as much as, don't get me wrong, I tell it straight, I don't have no regards for the policy enforcers, none. I respect people prior to anything else you choose to do. So if you think by having on a uniform that somebody will respect you, she spoke about respect too, but in reality, they talk giving respect, but in reality, a lot of people don't respect the people their community that they're supposed to be overseeing. Because we understand the policy enforcers don't really work for the people, they work for the plantocracy. And the only thing they're protecting is the investment. So ain't no trust. So you gotta respect people. Well, for me, let me just put this clear. I ain't telling the boy to go and do nothing. I'm simply saying, me personally, I respect people as an individual. First, the uniform, the whatever they claim is the authority, none of them can tell me on whose authority it is. None of them. I ask them, when you say you have the authority, on whose authority? Whose authority? When you say you have the authority, who gave you authority? I have never met an officer who can give me that answer yet. But that's another conversation. So that ain't my thing. I respect people. The minute you disrespectful, I don't care what uniform you have on, we're going to have a problem. That's as simple as that. No, you may have many more individuals wearing a similar uniform with you and perhaps a sidearm, the enforcement stick or the weapon of enforcement. Well, that might be a bit more convincing, but even that in some cases, I do mean in some cases, y'all already know that ain't flying past me either. Y'all already know that too. So you could ask whole town district court about that. Ain't playing that. Right is right and wrong is wrong, regardless of who you are. You're not above universal divine law. Period. So I respect the fact that she had the audacity to come out and say that. I respect that. But I'm not sure how many of the officers actually listening. I'm sure they're good people. Good people, you don't have to tell good people to respect people. They already respect people. So she's preaching to those who, she's speaking to the other ones. Clearly she's speaking to the other ones. Clearly. I remember when they came at my base with these ski masks on, black hats and these ski masks with the things. So I remember all that, man. I remember what you said and what you did. Talk about respect. Yeah, well, they got a long way to go to get to that level. So good luck with that. But the fact that she said all of that says a lot. Says a lot. You wouldn't have to say that if that was already in place. You get it? But there's a need to say it. So I definitely want to salute her for having the courage to say it. The next step is to have enough courage also to start to weed out the bad apples, man. And speaking of bad apples, let me go here. Look, let me go to this one. This officer right here has the absolute worst job in Barbados. And I say worst job, I mean, he has the absolute worst job in Barbados. I don't know who he is personally, but I want to play this video right here for special reasons. Speaking of circumstances, you know, this, I don't know this officer right here. In fact, let me check the comments real quick. Let me keep up going. Otherwise, you can get ahead of me. Greetings to you too, Pedro. I see you join us. Yeah, man. I was probably on a while ago, Pedro, man. That had me in purgatory, man. I had to fly up out of that infamy. Got me wrong, man. Good evening to you too, brethren. Give thanks to Ella for showing up. John said, did you sell on floor is rip off. They don't give you an unlimited mobile data plan. The internet in the Caribbean is overpriced. Yes, it is overpriced and undervalued because, and I'll tell you what, the service at nighttime, you know, it cuts out and cuts in, they should have a bill by second policy. They give you a flat plan on a monthly basis to meet X amount. For the minute that they start to drop out, they could tell when they drop out. They should deduct X amount from your bill because they dropped out. Poor service. We got to start demanding more, man, on holding them to ransom. We got to start that. Blessed Sabbath to you too, family. Shout to the elder, Bishai. Give thanks for the program, Bishai. If y'all missed the program on Tuesday night, Step Into the Light, Bishai and the crew came through. Idle Festival coming up in St. Vincent, August the 23rd. If you miss it, go back and watch that. I'm getting calls from all the way in Atlanta asking questions about this thing on another level, brethren. So this thing done gone viral, Bishai. You got to check it out. Greetings to you too, Maria. Was calling you all afternoon, but I see that it was busy. I'll show you tomorrow for sure. True, a lot of officers are working for the crime bosses too. But we're going to touch on some stuff tonight, though. We're going to touch on some stuff tonight, man. Good night to you, everyone. Blessings, Monica. Listen, go tell a friend to tell a friend, family. Go tell a friend to tell a friend. Barbados is a beautiful place with beautiful people. I met two distinguished gentlemen this morning in a patrol vehicle. And I say that because, again, people is people. But like I told the gentleman, you listen, man, you know, there comes a time, and I got to say it again, all that is necessary for evil to flourish, that good men do nothing. Good men can no longer sit down and do nothing. We can no longer do that, man. We got to stand up and be held accountable and speak on it, man. The state gives authority. Okay, the state gives authority. That's interesting because when last I checked, you know, the state don't exist. If you can show me who the state is right now, Cami, if you can show me who the state is, I'll go ahead and I'll, you know, the state gives authority. I understand that fully, but who is the state? Produce the state that gives the authority. Let's go from there. The officer in a whole. Listen, Pedro, I don't know the gentleman right here. He has the hardest, the worst job in the force. Why I say that? Because he has to basically do PR. He got to come in front of the camera and say the things that are, you know, he got to say what the people need to hear, not what they, no, let me phrase it. He got to say what the people want to hear, not what they need to hear. He has to actually say what the people want to hear. He got to tell you what you want to hear. He can't tell you what you need to hear. But politically incorrect won't tell you what you need to hear. And that he got the hardest job. Let me give you an example why he say that. Oh, you listen carefully to this. And this is an old clip. It's an old clip. But I want you to listen with an open ear objectively. It's only 2 minutes. Listen to what is being said carefully. Carefully.
Around 12:15 p.m. this afternoon.
Around 12:15 p.m. this afternoon. All right, clear. It's pretty obvious.
We received a call of what was recorded as a serious accident.
We received a call that was recorded as a serious accident.
By a member of the public.
By a civilian. A member of the public, obviously somebody witnessed this, call it in.
Personnel from Oyston's police station quickly came to the scene.
Oyston police station, which is only a few yards away, I suppose about maybe, if I had to do a guesstimation, maybe 600 yards, maybe 900 yards, give or take. If I'm looking at a football field, 300 and 306, about maybe 900 yards away, give or take. So a civilian saw this accident and called it in.
Can you verify that the accident was in fact a fatality, sadly?
The accident was a fatality. Sadly, it was a fatality, sadly.
It involved a motorcyclist ridden by a male.
It involves a motorcyclist ridden by a male, but it's a fatality. Okay, so far. Okay.
With a pillion rider, female pillion rider who's now deceased.
Okay, so the pillion rider, the lady at the back of the bike, is now apparently deceased.
Obviously on the rear of the motorbike. They became...
Okay, now this way it gets interesting. So far you got the facts of the matter. So far you were given facts of this matter. Okay, you got the facts.
Female pillion rider who's now deceased.
Like I said, those are all facts so far.
Obviously on the rear of the motorbike. They became involved in a collision with another vehicle.
They became involved in a collision. Now the word collision is pretty straightforward. They became involved in a collision with another motor vehicle.
Owned by the Barbados Police Service.
Owned by the Barbados Police Service. So far, you're getting the facts of the matter. There's no investigation necessary at this point. You're being given the facts. You then got to investigate the facts of the situation to come to some other conclusion. But listen carefully.
Along Welch's Road here in Christchurch.
Along Welch's Road in Christchurch. Those are all facts so far. All facts. You could check those off one by one by one. Those are guaranteed. Those are facts. Irrefutable facts.
Now the circumstances.
And he says no. No, that's a conjunction. It's quite an interesting word. He says no. I gave you the fact just now. No, I'm giving you an opinion. But there must be a difference between the two. Hold on.
Owned by the Barbados Police Service. Along Welch's Road here in Christchurch. Now, the circumstances is still very much under investigation.
Now, these circumstances are still very much under investigation. You understand? The circumstances as to the facts I just gave you are under investigation. He says that first off the top. But see, from this point onward now, as I said, he got the hardest job in the world. Now he got to shoe shuffle and tell the public what they want to hear. Listen what he does.
Sadly, what we can say is
listen, this guy is good here. I can give you another one in a minute too, but hold on. He's good. Check it out. Sadly, and don't get me wrong, and by the way, out the family, if they're watching this, if they get a hold of this, I don't mean to bring this back up in any form or fashion, but I want to make a point. Enough is enough, man. Let me make this point, and I do ask your permission for this.
Person, that female pillion rider, obviously the rider lost control and collided on the sidewalk.
Wait, hold on. The rider lost control and collided with a sidewalk. Hold on, let me go to the comments real quick. I'm gonna pause for a second here. In fact, let me play that again.
Pillion rider, obviously, sadly, what we can say is one person, that female pillion rider, obviously the rider lost control and collided on the sidewalk.
Obviously, you see the choice. Let me tell you something, family. If I did not know any better, right?
And rider, Police Service along Welch's Road here in Christchurch. Now the circumstances is still very much under investigation. Sadly, what we can say is one person, that female pillion rider, obviously the rider lost control and collided on the sidewalk.
Obviously, the rider lost control and collided with the sidewalk. I could stop the video right there. In fact, I'm gonna give you this. I might play the rest. I don't know. I'm gonna give you the link real quick to go and check it before they move it, because I'm sure they're gonna take this down. Because far as they're concerned, this is evidence right here. Right here. So go ahead and download this clip. Do what you got to do, family, before they take this down. Because I know after tonight, they're going to move this. They've done it in the past. They're going to move this. So Rodney Innes, that's his name. Okay, Ivor, give thanks. If that is the name, I don't know. That cop passed away not too long ago. My condolence to the family. My condolence to the family. You see this thing here, family? Y'all, you serious? This cop passed away not too long ago. I am. May he rest in peace, and condolence to his family on this. Condolence to his family on this. That job stressed this man out. That job stressed this man out. They owe the family an explanation as to why they put him in this position. They owe the family an explanation and compensation for putting him in that position. Serious, man. Because I can imagine the stress he went home with that night with his family. And his family would have seen it all along. Perhaps he would have changed somewhat, I don't know. But if that's the case, well, condolences to this gentleman right here. But I heard what he said just now. That's recorded for history. Because in reality, hold on, let me let the rest play.
And she died. She was pronounced dead at the scene. The writer himself sustained some pretty serious injuries, and he was transported to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by ambulance. We are yet to check on the outcome of his injuries as we speak. But we are continuing our investigation in the manner as usual. We're asking anyone who would have witnessed this incident. They are free to submit the information to the police. All the information, all the facts will help us with this investigation. Now, the personnel in the police vehicle have not been injured, but we're still here dealing with grieving families. The deceased young lady has been identified by family members.
I won't go into that part. I won't go into that part. But the officers in the vehicle were not injured. They was good. They was good. So I was thinking about this thing actually very deeply for a little while. And I managed to find something else. I found this one. Now this is the same incident from a different angle. Just bear with me for a second, family. Just bear with me.
It involves a motorcyclist ridden by a male with a pillion rider.
I can pause it at this point, really and truly. Because at this angle now, you actually get to see the motorcycle. Well, you actually get to see the officers, well, the other vehicle, let me put it that way. The other vehicle that was being driven by the officers who were not injured. And as you can clearly see, it said that the bike collided. Initially, it was reported the bike collided with another vehicle. Obviously, the bike struck the sidewalk, he said later on, and the driver lost control. But there's damage to this police vehicle, clearly. So my question is, well, wait a minute. This vehicle is facing the opposite direction. From what I understand in this case, the direction of the vehicle that the bike was traveling. So how this vehicle get on this side of the road? Like all the way up on the sidewalk? Because clearly if I was to zoom in, you'll see the front of this car is actually on the sidewalk. And here's a question. Why didn't allow the media, because you know they allow the media got cameras in close range. You mean tell me the boy in Nation on CBC got enough camera lens? A cell phone could zoom in even closer than this. Where's the images from this incident that shows the bike on the ground? And you know what? Something ain't right about this situation, because I remember this day very clearly. It was announced that there was this whole chase. They were chasing some guy in the vehicle on the road. Y'all remember this thing? Yeah, well, somehow there's a bike involved. Something ain't clear. Something is not clear. Now, I heard recently the Attorney General said it. He said it in the video I played for y'all a few nights ago. He said the Tint law was being requested by the police. He said the police were requesting the Tint law as if to put this whole law about tints on the police. Well, that's a bit strange, because if it's a case where the police pull over a vehicle, why not put a law instead of having tints? Because the police fear for their lives when they approach a vehicle. Why not just put a law where you got to just open your windows? If you're being pulled over by police, what you do is you lower all 4 windows so that police can have clear visibility into the vehicle, as opposed to 20% on the front or 20% on the back, 25 on the front, 20 on the side, the mirror, like 7, whatever. It don't make no sense. So why is this really being done is the question we asking. But like I said, a lot of stuff don't make no sense. But again, condolences to the family for the young lady and the young man, because the young man eventually, what they said, succumbed to his injuries. Although, again, the initial report is that he just had a damaged leg. But I ain't going to get into that part at this point because, like I said, you know, there's always more in the mart than the person. You know, my grandmother, Aunt Rose, used to always say that, you hear? But eventually, this is 2025. It going come out, you know, wireless surveillance or invasion of privacy. Speaking of which, family, speaking of which, let me go ahead and play this one. There's so many videos here. I can't find them. Well, I can't see them all like before because, like I said, as a result of the system being down, all the tabs are blank. I don't know which is which. I have to literally go through all of them to see. So I'm just going to let the spirit lead here, man. Just summon what is what. Trust that it comes up. That's what it is, man. Let me go to this one real quick because this right here is what take the cake. And I'm telling you all right now, family. I'm telling you all right now, if we not paying attention to this one here, I'm telling you, living under a rock, straight up. Seeing this guy for years, addressing every serious incident. For real, it's the worst job I can't lie. Imagine what they does to one psyche. That's why I tell you, family, someone said he recently passed away. And like I said, more strength to the family. I don't really do the condolence thing, you know, but more strength to the family as well, because a life loss is a life loss. People just grieve regardless. So I feel the pain in the family, you know what I'm saying? But I can only imagine what he was going through psychologically, knowing the things he know, and then he got to say things like that, because in his own statement just now, you could see and hear it clearly. Double speak. You can hear it, see it clear. For those who know, know. It's obvious. The other officers, I still trying to figure out how that happened though. The police lost control of their vehicle and swerve onto the oncoming bike. How they get on that side of the road is what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, how they got there, brethren? That happened because a lack of competition. Or that you did you sell? Well, Sean, we gonna work on that, man. Ronnie Ennis, indeed. Yeah, somebody said he passed away. Bad can't weed out bad joke. Well, I don't think they're all bad, man. Camille, don't get me wrong, man. I met some decent people, good people that wear that uniform. Although I always, you know, like I said, I respect the fact that was a choice, but I can't say they're all bad, man. I can't say that they're all bad. There are some good people that want to do good. And sometimes, sometimes you make it your bed, you know, Granny said, make it your bed, you gotta lie down in it, right? Sometimes some folks make some unwise decisions and, you know, it leads to other circumstances, man. The first rule in dealing with the devil is don't. Former public relations officer. Yeah. But here's the thing, man. I know that job to kill that man, stress that man out, man. Rasta, that officer passed away some months ago. Well, I recognize that. No, somebody said it. Give thanks, Mike. We're getting on, General. But I say that they stress that man. They owe that man family an explanation, man. Go to Cuba or Russia, Venezuela, and see the state. You funny, Cammy. You funny enough. Lapido's police purposely hit him. They purposely hit that man. Why you say that, Daffodil? That's why he's saying if they purposely, hold on a second, Daffodil, that's a serious indictment, you know. If you're saying that they purposely hit him, that means that's a wrongful death suit. The police ain't got no right writing off the body hitting the body with a car on no bike and causing death and just walk away. That is a whole different conversation. At the very least, that's involuntary manslaughter. At the very least. But if you can prove that it was intentional, then that's a different charge. That's murder now. That's murder. So if you send the police hit him on purpose, well, come out things. We part Winston Clark is. Winston, part yes. We need the files on this, Winston, before they bring the lie detector test and stop folks from talking the truth. He was chased by the police. But that's the thing. I don't know if he was, I don't know he was chased. You sure? You sure he was chased by police? The crown, Emmanuel, the royal family gave the crown power. The crown power. King and queen have the divine right to rule because of their bloodline. God's chosen. You trying to be funny? You trying to be funny? We are God's chosen. We are the kings and queens. So that means that we, the state, and give authority. But guess what? The king gives it, the king takes it. Full stop, Sean. Those bad cops ain't learning. Man, I can tell you something, though. Something got to give, Aaron. That's just my position. Bottom line. Collided with a vehicle, the first, now with the sidewalks. Well, that's why we're saying, Ivor. That's why he said something ain't right. And what he said, it ain't something ain't right. The rider did lose control. However, what caused him to lose was not control. Wasn't what caused him to lose control. Wait, hold on a minute. The rider did lose control. However, what caused him to lose was not control. Where it said, okay, what caused him to lose control wasn't said. I got you, Pedro. Nah, what caused lose control wasn't said. Clearly, the vehicle is what caused lose control. Where is the Nation News and CBC that got the footage? Where's the footage? There's a building right there that got cameras on that road. That road has on a lot of those, what you call them flock cameras. You see them everywhere in Barbados now. These white boxes and these cameras with the black heads. These are special cameras. During Hurricane Beryl, that road had a camera on it, and I was tapped into that camera, that surveillance camera from online. Those buildings in that area, there's a few offices, there's cameras online. All those places got cameras. It mean nobody ain't got the footage of what really happened? Come on, man. Barbados surrounded by cameras. You kidding me? Good night, family. If the accident is on investigation, you can't come to an opinion of what happened. Cheese on bread, politically incorrect. my cappuccino getting cold because you see my logo fading away. Yes, family. Yes, family. I got the package in the mail. Yes, I officially have some politically incorrect mugs. Yes, we're not going to mug you for them, though. But we're going to have this conversation another time. But I got one or two. One for every night, I think. 3 nights a week. I got 3 of them. Give thanks to those who made that possible as a pilot program. We'll see how it goes. We'll tweak it. If you're interested in a politically incorrect mug, my number is on the screen. Be at work and make a statement. If you're an officer, get your politically incorrect mug and put it on your desk at work. Let them know you ain't playing that game. You're rolling with the Rasta man. But that's a valid point, Maureen. That's a valid point. You know, if the accident is under investigation, you can't come to an opinion of what happened. And that's why I said he had the worst job. Heart attack result of stress. He died of a heart attack. Wow. Again, more strength to the family. But I'm telling you, they worked that man to death. Put him in positions where he had to say things that he know he shouldn't have said, man. Collateral damage, that's what you call it, collateral damage. Ain't no collateral damage in here at all. Ain't no collateral damage. Hold on a second. Let me go and play this video right here, right now. Let me pull this one up. It makes no sense because it's a dollar move. I got you. I see you. I see you. I see you. They keep claiming that the police is who's asking for this. I wonder, you know what, man? If I own a vehicle that doesn't have rear or back windows, how would the police approach me? Ooh-wee. I just go and sit my look, Maureen, let me ask you a question. You know those commercial vans, those panel vans? Yeah. Yeah. They wonder how the police gonna approach the panel vans. They ain't got no tint. They ain't got no windows at the back or the sides. Only the 2 front seats. Although the back of the van, man, got a whole bunch of folks, like the FBI, you know, got the machine, they drive in the back, they all the gear on, and they ready to jump out at any minute. It is illogical. And when you start doing illogical things, I can't condone the foolish, man. I can't condone foolishness. He had head injuries too, went to surgery, came out and died. Wait, who had head injuries that went to surgery and died? You referring to the guy on the bike or the officer himself? Ivor, who you referring to directly, Ivor? Let me know which one you're referring to. Didn't know he passed until these comments. Rest in peace. Yeah, I didn't know either, man. I think I did see something a while back. I don't know if I put the 2 and 2 together, but once somebody mentioned it, it kind of rung a bell, I think. But again, more strength to the family, and in no form or fashion do we offer any disrespect. We're just making a point that the police in Barbados are stressed. A lot of them are forced to do things and function in ways that is, not consistent with integrity. We know that there's a spiritual order that you have to give account for at some time. Whether you believe it or not is, well, let me phrase that. Whether you know it or not is irrelevant. Why the government let those cars, most of them come in to the country with tinted windows. They wait till the horse jump out of the stable now to close the door. Richard, good night to you too, Richard. Good night to you. I understand that. The issue ain't tints, I mean, like I said, there was robberies the other night, and which was more concerning, the tint in the car or the guy put in the crime. Somebody did a video with that. Forgot his name, the interview guy, the mouse, the rat. What did his name? I thought that was hilarious. I'm not sure who the one up behind that stuff, but he did an interview with the AG. I thought that was hilarious, man. But anyhow, you could have seen the pain and agony in his face. That's why he's saying, Monica, he's a man. He's still got feelings. In fact, he even mentioned the family. We're here with the grieving family and whatnot. Like I tell you, you gotta respect the man. You gotta respect the man. He had the worst job, the absolute worst job. You got to respect the man. Got to, man. Good people can no longer turn a blind eye to this. We can no longer do so, man. There were 2 police vehicles going in opposite directions. There were 2 police going in opposite direction, one coming and one going. Listen here, Ivor. I'm telling you, man. You see this thing right here? They knew him, telling you, okay. They knew who it was on that bike. An officer must have discipline, which means they must follow the order of the commanding officer. You see what he's saying now? So you're trying to tell me somebody gave this order? Something ain't right, man. Something ain't right. John and Jones right there got cameras. Okay. Well, guess what? If that place have cameras, well, John Jones has, man, I am certain that if they have cameras in there, you're going to ask them that surveillance now. I wonder what they'll tell you, actually. Building next door belonged to Paul Johnson. For sure have cameras. There's a company right there. That building right there by that bus stop is some sort of secret lab or... No, not a lab. What is it? I forgot the name of that place. But that's a very high security place right there. That building set back from the road. I think it's a lab. It's not if it's not a lab, it's a bank, something, an offshore bank or something like that. Can't remember the name of the place. But you're right, Daffodil. You can have many opinions, not a conclusion. That's exactly what I guess what she was saying. Exactly what she was saying, I guess. Miracles of luck, lone survivor from that Air Indian 787 crash. Tim Ward, yes, that one guy, he was in seat number 11. The guy that survived that plane crash was in seat number 11. I thought that was interesting too. It makes me wonder if that was a false flag or whatever else. I don't know, man. Nowadays, you got to check it to make sure because, I don't know. be living in a time loop or something. Twilight Zone, man. Yeah, Maureen, I got you, Maureen. I got you. I understand what you're saying, man. Let me go to this video real quick, though. This is where I want to get to tonight, man. This is where I want to get to tonight, family. Wireless surveillance or invasion of privacy. Now, I was under the impression that Commissioner Doughton, while he was in office, was removed from office because, to my knowledge, he was accused, rather, of illegal wiretapping. I was researching those videos for that information and couldn't find them. I didn't find them yet, but I can still look. I'm almost sure that he was accused of illegal wiretapping. He was accused of tapping phones, actually. Apparently, he might have had some recordings too of certain things. But anyhow, he was brought back to work as a police officer, some capacity. And outside of that announcement, you have never seen or heard him in any press release, nothing. I don't see it. I don't even know what he does, if he's still even on his staff, payroll, or what. We don't know. But anyhow, listen to this real quick, family. Listen to this one.
Prime Minister Motley said she felt it was time to address the nation and provide an update on the country's crime-fighting efforts. With that in mind, she indicated that Barbados is well on its way to introducing legislation that allows for wireless communication to be intercepted and used in the law courts.
To allow wireless communications to be, listen to the word tonight. Michael, listen to the word, intercepted. And used in the law court. Now, wait a minute. I was always on the impression that they were intercepting ever since. They've been intercepting. The problem is they couldn't use it because they got it illegally. It was illegally gotten. So they couldn't use it. But they've been had your information. They've been listening to your calls, checking your messages, all this kind of fancy stuff. Pegasus. We know about this stuff a long time. This ain't no. The problem is now they're saying they want to use it in court, basically to incriminate you or let you incriminate yourself by talking and WhatsApping people and sending messages and whatever else on the phone. Then they want to bring that information into the court and basically have you like John Gotti. If you don't know who John Gotti is, go Google him. Because it was the intercepting of the surveillance. It wasn't wireless at the time, though. It was wired phone tapping. But now they want to tap the people at Barbados phones. Let me say this, family. There is an act they have out. Let me see what it's called. Let me see if I can find it now. I don't even know. Like I said, this place is such a mess right now. I don't even know if I can find it. It is supposed to be the... Oh, yeah, here it is. Boy, I love the ancestors here. I click on one page randomly in the dark here. I can't see nothing, man. And it's that exact page. Well, I love the ancestors here. They don't let Donny Rasta man at all. I'm going to give you all this link too. I ain't even playing that. Let me give you all this link. Data Protection Act. Y'all remember that? The Data Protection Act? Yeah. Yeah, the short title. Yes, application of the act, the fairness of processing, lawfulness. Yes, condition for consent. Well, guess what, family? Let me put this page, let me put this up here. It's about 100 pages, give or take. These were national security, crime, and whatnot. But I'm going to say this real quick. I don't want to switch it. I'm just going to give you the link real quick. Let me put the link down here as well in the comments. If you don't have this, go download it, family. Go download it. The Data Protection Act. Get yourself a copy, start to revise it, look through it, make your notes, do some research, because I'm telling you, Barbados addresses this invasion of privacy very different. The invasion of privacy was outlined in the Data Protection Act, and that is 2019 to 2029, which came into force, which said it came in on March 2021. Yes. This law was designed to safeguard individuals' personal data and outlines how that data can be collected, possessed, and shared. So now we want to go back and create a law that allows for the constabulary to infringe on your privacy, which means then that any personal information they have on you, whether it's medical, personal, or financial, or whatever it is, and they want to use that information in court, they can. But wait a minute. There are people who are going to be listening to your information in places, and we don't know who they are on this small little island, who got files on you, though. Yep. Who got files on you? Tell you what, Miss Madam Prime Minister, Miss Prime Servant, how about this? When it comes to the lie detector part, I don't think that's an issue really, but I think it should lead by example. So how about this? How about we do the lie detector part, set up an independent agency, of course, or like Black Lion Security, to oversee the lie detector aspect of things, do the training and stuff for the individuals. And then we get the Auditor General's report, right? The Auditor General's report, find out all those agencies that are not giving accounts for the money that's missing, and we start questioning them first, including the AG's office. Hold on a minute. Let me play this video, man. Y'all got to hear this.
We would have spoken previously to you that a consultative process on wireless intercept legislation and being able to use the intercepts as evidence in a law court. And indeed, that draft was passed to the Advisory Council on Citizenship Security, and it has now to go to the full council. And once that is received by us through the Office of the Attorney General, the Cabinet and the Parliament will take the necessary steps to introduce that legislation, conscious that in many instances intel is available. But if you can't use that intel as evidence, there is then a lacuna, a break between what you can carry to court and what you know.
No, hold on a minute. In many instances, the intel is available. So what Ms. Motley that's basically admitted is that they have access to your wireless information. They have it. She just said it. In some instances, the information is there. We have it. But we got to now bridge it between that and the court. We got to be able to that has to be able to be admissible in court as evidence. Well, wait a minute. Isn't that already an invasion of privacy? Now, all they need to do to basically clock your movements and your phone calls is to use one word. It's a special word, but this word is a go-to word when it comes to the establishment, to give them a rights of passage for all things. That word, my friends, I should say, is surveillance. All they got to say is that surveillance, man. Surveillance. It's a security measure. They got to say security. And suddenly surveillance is necessary. You are a security risk. This guy is politically incorrect. We have suspicion that he's planning a coup. He's a security. The magic word is security. We have to watch him because he's plotting something. And there you go. Next thing, all of my video calls. Malcolm got my video calls, man. Oh, man. I can't, man. I can't, man. I just can't. It said, that's a lie. Mia is who answers for the reduced tint, not the cops. Well, she might have answered for it, but she has her reasons for asking for it. The AG is saying that the police is the ones pushing for this, pushing for this, pushing for this. In fact, let me let her finish the statement, Aaron. Hold on a second.
There is then a lacuna, a break between what you can carry to court and what you know.
Prime Minister Motley says this can no longer obtain. She also shared that government is now at an execution stage as it relates to a truth verification process, more commonly known as lie detector testing. According to her, equipment has been purchased and training provided. Additionally, the Attorney General will be meeting with trade unions as the administration presses ahead with this measure.
The truth verification testing is not focusing on any category of worker. It's focusing on persons who have access to certain secure spaces.
Certain secure spaces. Let me let her finish first.
And if you have access to certain secure spaces, then we need to ensure that you are acting with the integrity that we need you to act with, such that the rest of the society is not put at risk. The truth verification testing, therefore, is a fancy set of words effectively for what? A lie detector test? A lie detector test. And
a lie detector test. We want to test those who are working in certain special areas because we need to know that you know what I'm saying? We need to know that you, oh, you mean the bike man? Okay, I see you. Head injuries, it's a possibility too. I'm not sure how his situation was though. You said he was rushed to surgery and then he passed away. I don't know. There's some things, there's some unanswered questions regarding that whole situation. But this lie detector test thing here, Miss Motley, with all due respect, right? I think you need to start with the missing money. Don't let Rob Thorne start on you. Don't let Mr. Thorne start upon you. Don't let him start upon you because he gonna have a field day with this. A field day. You know, the reality is, you know, there's a lot of people in your administration and those who've been there from permanent secretaries back down for years that need to be held accountable. You ask them, they have the integrity. If you start going through Barbados from top down, right? I guarantee you're gonna have to fire so many people. I ain't sure how you want to operate that machine, Miss Motley, but
therefore it will be subjecting both public and private sector persons.
Subject to the private and public.
We accept that persons cannot be forced in certain circumstances to do it, and therefore if they can't work, they won't have access to those areas and may have to be placed in other jobs, but the AG will continue those discussions.
The Prime Minister also responded to online comments regarding tint regulation.
My car will have and be subject to the same tint regulations as anybody. So I don't want any exemption for my car and my office as Prime Minister. And if outside hot, I can be hot with you. And if it ain't hot, I can be cool with you. But what I'm not going to do is ask Bajans to do something that I am not prepared to do myself.
All right, hold on a minute. Miss Motley. Come on, man. Like, I mean, come on. I can't wait to see you again. I'm gonna ask you, how you got, I mean, Miss Motley, first of all, all the police know what car is yours. First of all, even if it had on tint or ain't had on tint, they ain't stopping it. Let me get that clear first of all. There ain't no police stopping your car unless you report it stolen or missing, in which case, another conversation. Nevertheless, police ain't stopping your car, tint or no tint. Let me just make that clear. And this notion about if outside hot and hot, Miss Motley, come on. I mean, you never drive your windows open. You would know if outside hot or not. You would not know that. I'm sure you have the comfort of the AC from that electric vehicle that you shuffle around the public in when you're here, at least when you're around Barbados. Other than that, you and your other vehicle that is also a service vehicle that is clearly tinted out for your comfort in the back seat if that's where you sit. But let me not go down that road, Miss Motley. Don't, you know, understand, you're dealing with a different set of Barbadians. I know that you might be used to this because you were taught by them old guards. I know by now you caught up a few things and you got a new swag and you got some new modern ideas. But here's the reality. You got to be conscious of the unconsciousness that you have. Because in reality, if you really recognize what's going on, the votes are down, Miss Motley. People are not buying into this anymore. This rhetoric only serves those who are unaware that they are unaware. But this does not prove your case. This does not convince Barbadians that you're not infringing on their rights right now. Although that you're just doing your job, what you were hired to do by those invaders now who are returning to try to recreate a colony under the guise of a country claiming it's advancement. This ain't advancement. This is an advancement. This has nothing to do with being advanced as a nation state, quote unquote. We don't want no nation state. You can take the state out to the nation. Let's leave the nation. We don't want the two nation state. See, I'm playing on words. We know what they mean, man. Enough is enough, though. See this right here? We got this. Now, this put you in a spot where now, you know, I don't know how this is going to unfold, man. I know how we going to work this out, Miss Motley. This ain't going to work. This right here ain't going to work. Because is one thing to say you doing it because of crime. Now, let me ask you a question. What is the statistical measure of crime in Barbados that would justify these kind of things going on? Now, if you're telling me you're going after public servants and private servants who work in sensitive area, that, you know, embezzling funds and all this money laundering, that kind of stuff, I don't know who you're gonna pull that off either, but I don't know which hotel you're gonna start with first, but nevertheless, all I will say to that is that this right here, for the concern, infringe on the rights to privacy, which is a human rights declaration. It's a violation of human rights. We're gonna see what's going on now, man.
But what I'm not going to do is ask Bajans to do something that I am not prepared to do myself.
Prime Minister Motley reminded that the Barbados Police Service specifically asked for this measure to be implemented.
We're not asking for you to remove all tint, but we're asking for you to regulate the tint. If that particular officer or officers have to approach a car, it is all black tint. They don't know what they're facing. They don't know whether they're underreacting, overreacting, whether their life is in their hand, whether they will be standing. That is the reality of what we are facing. And while I would like to be able to say that we can not cause everybody an inconvenience, when I put the inconvenience to the individual in the scales against the risk to the life of the handful of people who we have protecting us every day and every night, I don't need to tell you where the scales are landing.
I don't need to tell you where the scales are landing. Your privacy means nothing in preserving the life of those few men and women who apparently are in danger. Miss Motley, we deal with statistics, man. We deal with numbers. Tell me how many incidents in Barbados that officers found themselves in harm's way when stopping a vehicle. I would like to know the amount of occasions, statistically speaking, that justify such a draconian measure as this across the entire nation, because apparently we reached a stage where the officers are now feeling fearful for their lives. I wonder why. Ladies start off by saying, like I said, integrity, respect, you know what I'm saying? Building back that trust. I wonder why police officers are now fearful for their lives. You know, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. Let me say this, man. I don't know what the police or the soldiers, right? I would like to think that anybody who's living a certain level of crime or living involved in a certain level of crime, tints or no tints, I'm sure they have their reservations towards police deeply rooted in their subconsciousness, to the point where if there's a problem, whether tints or not, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And that's just the bottom line. Now, if the police are so afraid that they feel that they need to have this law in place, there's a valid question being posed. What about vehicles that don't have windows, that they don't know? What measure will they then deploy? What are they going to do? Like what? You know, what measure are they going to deploy? Just questions, man. Just questions. Just questions, man. Let me see what the folks in the comment box got to say. A bold-faced one. Is that Aaron? He said that's a lie. He said it's a bold-faced one. Yeah, Pedro, I see you. Do you know who controlled those people? You have a lot of Masonic stuff that going on in Barbados, but here this God said secret. I have none, so they are just fooling themselves. Well, I don't even think it's a matter, but Richard, I agree with you, and I don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a matter of having secrets. You don't have to have secrets to be concerned about people out in your personal business. It may be a case where you have private stuff, private information, whether dealing with your family, personal, medical information, maybe psychological information. You might be sharing information with a friend. Maybe you have problems in your family, you know, maybe you have financial treasures buried or whatever, or some family estate or something. I don't know. My point is, that it doesn't mean that you are involved in a crime, that you're plotting to rob a bank or whatever the case is. I don't know what they're talking about. They have information. But what I'm saying to say is that there are plenty of people in Barbados who are not involved in any crime whatsoever. And therefore, why should they have to give up their privacy, the personal information, their family, their loved ones, having problems at home with their husband? They might got a girlfriend outside, a wife might pregnant for the pool guy or whatever. All this personal detailed information they have on people, and they just got to claim one word: security. It's just we have a reason to check behind you. I mean, who's to say they're not already screening everybody's phone? Who is to say? Next month is a year that it was July next year. Wow. Was it that? Yeah. Was it that? Wow. That was quick. I didn't even realize that, man. Listen, man. Y'all saying she too liard, man. I don't know that. Tim Ward, it was America, bro. Well, we call it America, but we can't explain things. I suppose the devil get the blame for crashing the plane, right? And God get the gift for saving one guy. Yeah, that's how we think. That's how we wired, man. That's how we wired. Paul Johnson owns Lucky Horseshoe. Okay. Cameras both there for sure. Below where Dr. Ward used to be. I thought it was close to Australia. I don't know that. There's a building right there, but there's a house back there that is either I don't know if it's the IDB. In fact, I think that is the IDB. No, that's not the IDB. I don't know if that's the IDB or not. I don't remember that. There's a building right there, family. If I go on Google Earth right now and put my camera on the road, I could swing there and show you all them buildings right now, man. But we ain't doing that right now. We over already. Let me get this thing wrapped up tonight. I got other stuff to touch on. Yes, it was an order from you know who. Okay. Yes, he were known to the police. He might have been known, but that don't get him on no right to drive no vehicle and hit no motorbike and then cause the innocent young lady who ain't got nothing to do with nothing to lose her God-given right to life. And then nothing happened. The boy don't say nothing. Was it an accident or was it a deliberate action on the part of those individuals who drove that vehicle? You know? Why did they never say who the officers were that drove the vehicle? Were they charged with the accident wrongfully? Were they doing that side of the road? I don't know. He's a consultant in the AG's office. Who's this, Pedro? Dr. Ward pushed down long time. That next door. Okay, got you. Pedro, I answered the same question. Who's a... Oh, okay. Oh, Dalton is a consultant. Okay. It makes sense now then, right? Why the AG office going to continue to oversee that? Okay, it makes sense now. It makes sense. After 9/11, the Patriot Act, which was established, and then came now traces any communication on phone, computers, or tablet. Yep, that's what it is. They're trying to bring the Patriot Act to Barbados now, right? To trace anything. We have no terrorist thing going on here, man. This is getting crazy. I got you covered. Tim. Greetings, family. Godspeed to you too. Trust it all as well. Cell phone towers and ISPs always have logs on traffic, but the data inside encrypted. They want legislate it to use in courts. Of course. She says the quiet part loudly all the time. True, man. I know Dr. Ward is no more, but it looks like outside butterfly. I guess y'all know the area very well, apparently. God said, I am that I am, and there is no other God but me. I told you before that Mia is a dictator. All the tactics that she used point to a dictator. I keep telling y'all, Mia Motley is a employee. She is not a dictator. Nothing Miss Motley is doing is of her own accord. She is following a playbook that she's been given. Dictators rule. Miss Motley does not rule. She only rules who's below her, perhaps, but she answers to someone. Better believe that. Y'all better believe that. Further up, opposite Welch's Beach is where that happened. This right here, family. They said, come and say the police wanted it to. Oh, really? Miss Cummins not involved in this. I thought she was dealing with energy. You know, she got something to say about this as well. Since the Trident ID rollout years ago, it's a lot easier for the BIM government to improve their surveillance of the country. Yep. Like detector tests are not admissible in U.S. courts because they are not accurate. But we know that. So we know that that test is not for that purpose, Sean. We know that's not for that purpose. The question is, what is it for? The BLP goal is to create a police state. No, Aaron, that's not the BLP goal. That is the plantocracy goal, period. So whether it's B or D, understand that they both work for the same dragon. Both of them. There seem to be two schools of thoughts on who really requested the tint. Nah, it's an obvious fact who requested the tint, Maureen. Maureen, you got to just know a little bit more. If you put the dots together, you're going to find out what's going on, man. Put two and two together. See, the problem is they're under the impression that Barbadians are afraid and Barbadians are ignorant. What they're failing to recognize is that Barbadians are fully up, just quiet like sleeping giants, waiting for the right moment to have a coup. And they will have a coup. Believe that. And I could say that. Wiretap that now. And just for the record, the coup is an acronym. It's a coalition of united people, man. Shout out to Barbados National Congress while we at it. Shout out to Fade, man. The whole Fade family, man. They're not always accurate, but somebody advising them wrong. You know what I'm saying? Somebody advising them wrong. A lot of distractions, family. May need to test herself first. People that live in glass houses should not throw stones. Am I right? Richard, you ain't easy. You ain't easy at all. At all. Her car, I thought it was office of the PM's car. She bold with that language. Well, there's... it's her car in a sense, the car she drives. Whether she drive it personally or has it driven for her. Miss Morty sometimes drives herself around Barbados. I've seen her myself personally driving up and down the place. Personally speaking, you know, she got a little handbag with her and she on her wheels rolling. Comfortable, man. Comfortable. This in Iraq. This in Trinidad. This in Jamaica. Although it's starting to look that way. She thinks she's talking to 2-year-olds. Shaking my damn head. I don't, Miss Motley, you know, like I said, man, a lot of people come on here and accuse me of being your lackey or your yard foe, whatever. But I can tell you this right here, man, you're wrong for this one here. And I don't know who advised you, but I know that you're going to have to, this right here, if there was ever a deciding moment in your political career, consider it lost. Whatever ground you had, consider it lost. The Barbadians that the plantocracy thinking about ain't going in for this. This is a decoy, family. This is a major decoy. So we got to start looking at what else going on right now that they're looking to slide onto the radar while we busy looking at this major law that they're about to put in place. All right, this is too outlandish to be serious. Although they would like to still put it in motion, this is to test the water and test the feedback of the people to see if they could, because every time they create something, they take from you. Keep that in mind. They take from you. Take from you. I don't know how this is going to help them stop crime. They want to use this to incriminate and arrest people, not get a grip on the crime. You see, they ain't got no solutions. None. Trying to make the Attorney General look good. She had to come and speak for him. He could even speak on this. He ain't cut. Go watch the movie Enemy of the State, and the technology now 100 times better. Tim, listen, family, Tim has given us some homework. For those who do not know that movie, If you've never seen it before, go and watch it. It's called Enemy of the State. In fact, I might try to find it real quick. I don't know if I can find it, Tim, just to give you folks a little glimpse of what it is. I think it's Will Smith. And hold on a minute. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, it's a classic movie with Will Smith, the guy from Chris Rock Situation. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so Julie, I'm going to finish.
I don't think I'm going to actually. I may not play that, but yeah, you can actually check the movie out. I don't have it. Yeah, go check that movie out, family. For those who don't know it, we fight with the spirit that was in Bassa and Kofi. We see those foreign measures as a declaration of war. Serious. They've been declared war, man. We've been at war, Aaron, for sure. For sure. Watch numbers. For sure. For sure. Is it now illegal to bring in the dark tint? No, I don't think it's illegal to bring in dark tint. They never put nothing in place for that, but you're not allowed to have it because, according to him, certain vehicles will have exemptions. So you can still bring it, just that you ain't supposed to have it, according to them. But again, that only applies to who it applies to, because, you know, once again, if it's based on a fine, it only affects the poor man. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Police fear because of the nastiness they do. That's right. The good ones are afraid because the bad ones doing crap. I wonder if this woman really listened to herself. May it please give me and the people of Barbados a break. You are so phony. Well, speaking of phony, man, hold on a second. I got some other stuff I want to jump into tonight that's very critical for this thing. So let me go ahead and switch this real quick, because I see the time getting away, and I didn't plan me here on too late because some folks got to get bed before midnight. Wait, what time is it? Wait, midnight? Oh, man, see this right here? Oh, man, all right. Malcolm, y'all win that one, man. All right, man. We're working on it. Now, two things I want to touch on real quick, man. I try to wrap this up because I don't want to be here too long. Where can I find that video now? Let me see if I click this one, what happens? Yep. Well, look, I tell you, I give thanks to the ancestors here. I give thanks. Let me share it. Share the screen. No, I became aware of this only recently, and I thought to myself that well, I don't know if how should I put it? I don't want to seem like how to put this now. How to put this? I got to put this somehow, somewhere, somehow. And I'm trying to figure out the right words to put this. All right. Let me just show you first, man. Let me show you before I play that. Because it's a video I came across with the minister. I should just let him tell you, right? But what I want to say about this first now. Before I play this video, family, let me just say this to you. I am not saying I am opposed to this, because that would not be the truth. Right. I also want to say that I am not 100% for it either, because I'm aware of some other information that might still need some looking into. Right. Yeah, I'm choosing my words carefully because I don't want to be misunderstood with this one here. But what I would really love to say is this, Mr. Endarweer. Now I'm going to call your name. I honestly don't know what the Ministry of Agriculture is doing for the farmers in Barbados. I don't know, because perhaps I am not in that circle to know. But I think this money would have been better. I think what you said in this video, I'm going to play it. I think what you, in fact, let me put up on the screen. I think what you said in this video, I think the kind of money you talking about, like I said, I don't know if y'all invest this in farmers or not in Barbados, but I think that this right here is a matter for Mr. Thorne to be a thorn in your side about. I don't know if he's watching, or whoever is watching the program that is sending him the information, you know, send him this part, if anything. And I want to thank you for that, by the way, just for the record. But don't watch the face. Just do your job.
Our state-of-the-art controlled environment agriculture.
Hold on.
Indoor.
Let me just reverse it at the top. First of all, the company is called Indoor Vertical Farming. That's not just the process. That's actually the name of the company. So you know me, I went researching the name of the company. I wanted to see how long the company was up and running. I want to see the previous projects they would have done. I wanted to see the success of those projects based on where they were being done. I wanted to track it to see, well, the people who invested in this indoor vertical farm, I wanted to see for myself, you know, what was the success story? And boy, was I in for a surprise. So I searched and 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 I searched for a farm somewhere, a building somewhere where indoor vertical farm was up and running for at least a year, 2 years, 3 years. Will give you a real overview of the success of it, because you can't, I mean, there's only so much lettuce you can grow, so much kale and that kind of stuff, because indoor vertical farming isn't for the yam, the sweet potato. You can't put the pigeon peas up in there. That ain't gonna work. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, certain crops can't fly. You know, the squash, them kind of thing, pumpkins, that kind of stuff. A different set of mechanisms. But anyhow, the yam and the eddos and the dasheen, you didn't get there yet. But still, I wanted to know what was the success. So I was doing some research on this indoor vertical farm, the company. And again, Mr. Endar, let me let the people of Barbados hear what you have to say, family. This regarding food security in Caribbean, and specifically Barbados. I don't know about this one here, man. Anyhow, indoor vertical farm, let's give a listen.
Indoor vertical farms are state-of-the-art controlled environment agriculture. This farming method maximizes yield, optimizes space, and reduces water use by up to 95%.
This sounds like a commercial as far as I'm concerned. But anyhow, it's the news.
All while eliminating pesticides and herbicides. The arrival of 3 specially designed containers and 4 compact units on the island on July 4th from the Netherlands will signal the beginning of the first farming project of its kind in the region. Minister of Agriculture, Food and Nutritional Security Endarweer says the introduction of vertical farming is coming at a time when statistics show a decline in local vegetable and fruit production linked to climate change.
We would immediately have them assemble and start the training here in July. So, and it's a good thing too, because you know July is right into our hurricane season. And therefore, as we all know, when we get into heavy rainfall, a lot of the crops, the leafy green crops especially, are impacted by floods. So everything is really timely. What I'm hoping for is that by the end of this year, we would have a full set of these farms assembled across Barbados.
Sustainability benefits of indoor vertical farming include space saving, water saving, no pesticides, reduction in transport, higher yields, more efficient use of resources, reduced food waste, and carbon negative farming. Co-founder and director for business development with Indoor Vertical Farm, Bernard Slicer, says mainly leafy vegetables will be grown during the pilot project.
The total of these 3 containers is approximately then 195, 96 square meters of growing surface, which will, based on leafy greens, if we take romaine as an example, we will be producing 18 times per year. So where often outside you might have 2, maybe 3 harvests per year, we can do 18 cycles per year.
Now, I'm only pausing it here. I'm going to get back to what Indar said. Because as a farmer, this man just said that we could probably only harvest romaine lettuce maybe twice, maybe 3 times a year. Probably we lived in Iceland, Mr. Slice her. Probably we lived in Iceland. We in the Caribbean, big man. Your numbers way off. Your facts is twisted. Perhaps to suit your narrative, but I ain't gonna get in that point. The point I want to make is this though. You could harvest 18 times. You can't, I mean, unless you plan on harvesting in a shorter space of time, you could harvest the same indoors as outdoor. You understand what I'm saying? Don't bring that narrative. And Dar might go for that because he might not be. He a lawyer to my knowledge, I think. I don't know if he really knows about agriculture himself. But Endar, where you gonna be known for this one right here, if nothing else. I don't think this is the wisest thing you have chosen to do. In fact, let me let the rest of this video play because I'm gonna get back to some of the things you said that somebody
advising you wrong.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, somebody advising you wrong, man. But we're gonna touch on it in a minute.
That will produce approximately 21,000 kilos of lettuce, romaine lettuce per year.
And by the way, lettuce is not food unless you got a rabbit farm, right? Just for the record.
Here.
The compact units will be strategically placed across the island for training purposes.
These units are approximately 3.5 meters wide, 2 meters high, and 1.2 meters deep. Glass on both sides, so they could be placed in the middle of a room and then can be entered from either side. Now, these units are especially useful for R&D on, for example, new plant types or plant recipes, trading purposes.
Once the containers and units are set up, the training will begin. Indoor Vertical Farm will be bringing a plant scientist, agronomist, and an operational officer to facilitate the training. Local companies will also be engaged in the installation and maintenance of these farms. The 2025 to 2026 budget has made provisions for $5 million to be allocated for farmers to access indoor vertical farms to produce leafy green vegetables. The objective is for Barbados to eventually produce its own gourmet vegetables and fruits used particularly in the tourism industry through indoor farming.
Okay. So the goal is really to supply the hotels that way, but that's basically what it's saying. Full stop. Okay. So who going on these farms again? The city farmers across the island? 5 million? They invest in 5 million. Now let me go back to this video real quick back here. Let me go back to Mr. Indar, this project right here. So like I said, I did some research into this because I couldn't believe it, man. Like I was like indoor farming, but indoor farming, first of all, ain't nothing new. I mean, it's been out for over a decade. It's nothing new. It is nothing new about this. And secondly, if you go revisit a majority of the companies who started indoor farming, if you go do your research right now, you'll realize that a lot of people who start up that had a lot of capital, way more than 5 million, where are they now? A lot of them shut down. A lot of them filed for bankruptcy because guess what? It wasn't sustainable. They ain't like the problem. It requires an additional input of money ever so often to get it up running efficiently. So there are a lot of negatives about indoor farming as well. Although it sounds good to the untrained, like a great idea. 18 times a year you can harvest that much lettuce? Cha boy. the numbers sound good, but Endara, let me tell you this, man. But I should say, are you aware that this is not necessarily the best direction for Barbados or the farmers? In fact, we go one step further. Ultimately, these systems can be automated and ran completely by machine, AI to be exact. These environments are designed with the ultimate goal of being efficient and self-sustainable, ran completely by machine. So when you say farmers and farming and whatnot, set up and training, and the building and the maintaining of these by, you know, local companies, and nobody local got this kind of skill set, first of all, but you're going to train them, I guess. So you got to start a company to do this, and you create in certain aspects. I get it. But this company right here, vertical farming, this company not even a year old is yet. It's not even a year old. It was started back in 2024, according to the information that they gave on the website that they have. And, you know, there's a lot of ambiguous things about that, but I ain't going to question it right now because everybody trying to get it come up. I get it. But this is quite interesting. Then I realized that they had the princess here the other day too, from the Netherlands and whatnot. You see, you start to connect the dots, family. You start to realize if you go on the website, they actually have a lot of information. In fact, hold on, man. Hold on, man. Let me go on. Let me go here and give my people this thing, man. Let me show y'all what's going on. Hold on. Let me show y'all what's going on. Right here. Let me share this one here instead. Let me go ahead and give you the insight what's going on. So this is where we at right here, man. Indoor vertical farming. This is the website. In fact, I'm gonna give it to you. You can go look at it yourself. Hold on a second. That was not what I wanted to do at all. Let me cancel that. Right. Let me cancel that. There you go. Copy it. Yeah. I almost did something different. Let me put this here for my people here first of all. This is the website right here. This is the page that have on the latest news. So, you know, I was going, like I said, I kind of went through it, the home about us. I went to the latest news section. I mean, again, I had to touch on it. And the latest news basically is that, you know, diplomatic engagements and regional support in the Caribbean. And they talked about the European Union conversation they were having. And these are the co-founders here. This Mr. Slice her, and this is, well, I don't know if they're her that was Slice. I don't know, but she's also one of the co-founders. I don't know what's going on here. IB partners with government of Barbados to advance food security. So of course, when I saw that, you know, I had to click on that automatically. I mean, naturally, I had to click on that. I mean, Barbados, probably from about here. So IVF, which is indoor vertical farming, partner with government of Barbados to advance food security. So I looked at it. I was looking through it. I was like, wow, this is interesting, man. Like, this is quite interesting. And I read up, and it talked about how they came here, you know, I guess by invitation, it seemed like. And they were part of AgroFest. Okay. Okay. So they were here at AgroFest. So they you know, AgroFest pretty much. So I was looking through it and stuff, and I said, okay. I see you got a few other projects and whatnot. Okay, so I went and clicked on these other locations as well and realized that they don't actually have none of these farms up and running. They don't. And again, I ain't knocking it, but indoor vertical farming is nothing new, and it has its challenges. I don't know if Barbados should be investing that kind of capital in something that has proven to be not able to be sustainable in the long run. It requires a lot more funding being put into it. And you know, politics is already, you start these things, they get a little grant from here and there, the UN might be involved. I don't know what's going on with the embassy and whatever else, the ambassador. There's a lot of talk about this stuff. And go read the stuff on the page, family. A lot of stuff. When I went on the About Us page, the company overview, I thought it was quite interesting. Like I said, I was looking for a history of success projects. I don't see that. I wasn't seeing the history of the success projects. I was only meet our team. I only saw the meet the team. Mr. Slicer, I pronounce it as Slicer. I don't know. He's a co-founder and business development director. This young lady is Nadersha. I don't know. Did I pronounce that wrong? Anyhow, she's also a co-founder and a director, which is fine. And then this other guy here, the CFO, Mr. Wellingenhan, whatever it is. But so yeah, I get it. We meet the team, but I want to see the projects. I want to see the work. So I want to see, because like I said, I'm not, Mr. All galleries. Okay, went to the gallery. I expected to see projects and places that they would have went into. And so videos and stuff. I understand these are all commercials though. Farm designs again, just layouts. But when it comes to media, this looks like it's basically AgroFest. I don't see any history and nothing else. Anyhow, I ain't getting into all that detail. Although we should get into that detail because it's taxpayers' money they claiming they're spending. Or at least, your hard-earned dollar. So my question is, I'm not sure what research they did into this company, why they chose this company. Like I said, though, man, I give me your thoughts, family, in the comment section. Write your thoughts on that. Do some research on it. Let me know what you think about this indoor farming. As far as growing lettuce, Barbadians eat a lot more than lettuce. I suppose if you talk about food security in Darware, this is not really about food security. This is about maintaining lettuce, supplying the chain to the supermarkets or the tourist sector, whichever one you think is best. But I think a lot more thought needs to go into this. But apparently the buildings are already almost complete. The containers landing in July. You see the plans. They show you they have the plans. They show you they have the plans. They show they have the plans. In fact, hold on, in case you didn't notice it just now. They show you a model. They show you a model where they plan to put this stuff. And my thing is, I don't know if this is a model for Barbados or what, but this looked like something totally different going on here. I don't know. This is like a whole different facility, a whole different, I don't know. So if this is the plan, Mr. Endarware, this is a little more ambitious than 2 containers in July. You know what I'm saying? Hold on.
Island on July 4th from
Hold on.
on the island on July 5%, all while eliminating pesticides and herbicides. The arrival of 3 specially designed containers and 4 compact units on the island on July 4th from the Netherlands will signal the beginning of the first farming project of its kind in the region.
Okay. First farm project of its kind in the region. 3 special containers and the 4 supporting. I guess that's the battery, electricity, or whatever else that goes with it, because it requires a lot of energy. Because it's artificial light, family, isn't sun. They're using sunlight to store energy to get basically LED lights to grow the food. They're using sunlight. They're harvesting the sunlight to store in a battery to feed the LED lights to grow the plants. All I'm going to say is this, Mr. Endarware. Although you might be able to grow more lettuce, you and Mr. Slicer, well, let me slice into this idea for you and say this. The food will never, and listen to me carefully, it will never have the quality of nutrients that are given to plants from the sun. And as earth people, we need food from the sun. Because the minute we start eating food from these artificial lights, trust me, we will be malnourished, heavily malnourished, because the food will lack less than 50% of the nutrients required to help sustain the human body. So I don't know if they told you that part as well, but that's the problem with indoor vertical farming. The quality of food is not as nutrient rich. So you're rich in pocket, but poor in nutrients. So family, give me your thoughts on this in the comments section below. Just drop a note, idea what you think about it. But I don't know if Mr. Endarware really factoring all the details with this one. I don't know. But anyhow, let us wait and see. Let us wait and see. Anyhow, let me check the comments real quick because I see what time it is. I'll be hour and 47 minutes. Let me see, almost 1 is a little after 12. Let me get up here by 12:30. Let's see if I can make that happen. Where we at? Let me see if we get it here. Rundy Route was the officer driving. He targets Christchurch men. Rundy Route was the officer driving. That's his name, Rundy Route. That's what it's called. That's what they call him. In 92, when I moved back to BIM, my minivan was searched by cops and defense force on East Coast Road while doing a photo shoot. My van had dark factory tint only after they saw my camera equipment. Well, that's Tim. I don't know, family. Like I said, man, I fully get it. We get it. But there are other measures that can be deployed, because in reality, if you're being fearful, having a lighter tint doesn't always allow you access to see the vehicle, because at night, the tint, however light it is, it's going to still obstruct your view inside. So if you're fearful, you don't know what you're walking into, you're not going to see somebody holding a weapon, because first of all, they're not going to hold it where you can see at the glass. They'll have it concealed. And if the plan is to use it, trust me, it don't matter the tint, man. So again, it's illogical. There's a different reason why they're saying this. But like I said, we got to pay attention, family. And got to pay attention. Don't mind her. She is beer talk. Ask her why she refused to give a pensioner a pension that is at the age, talking about they ain't pay in enough contribution, but giving people that never paid in a cent into NIS a monthly pension. And she going home when the time is right with millions of dollars. Monica, these are questions we could all answer. You know, probably concern national insurance, I tell people, is not what you think it is. NIS is not what you think it is, man. Shout out to the Clarks family, man. Greetings from the Clarks family. Yes, greetings, family. The mug gets here before the BNC. No. Trust me, the BNC here fully, Pedro. You might not be aware, but the BNC on the ground putting in work, man. Just that, you know, they don't advertise. That is all it is. You're going to see some things you got to do in secret, man. I mean, after all, they got wireless surveillance, Pedro. You got to fly under the radar. And true, we are diehards. We have nothing to lose. We can conduct police raids in certain neighborhoods. You can conduct police raids in certain neighborhoods. What about some raids in Port St. Charles and other ports in St. Peter? Just asking. Now, Maureen, you know full well they're not allowed to go in and do nothing like that. See, I keep telling y'all they're two different Barbados, Gene Hackman and Will Smith. Yes, I remember the movie. Family, go check that movie out, Enemy of the State. If you don't know that movie, go watch it. And this is an old movie as far as what was going on back then. You can only imagine what's going on right now. Serious. Mia is minister in every ministry. She said everything comes through her. She has a sign off on any document. So family going to turn into pumpkins after midnight. No, Maureen, it wasn't that. That's I was supposed to be on earlier. I had made an agreement with some colleagues of mine, good people, my brother Malcolm, and to only come home and find that the Giselle had cut off the old, say, owe them money, man. They say owe them money, so anyhow, I mean, ain't like it's a lie. I mean, I do gotta pay my bills, right? But that's all right. Vertical farming is a land grab distraction. Well, you know what, Pedro? It deep though, man. It deep. They're trying to justify putting these containers on these vacant land, right? For a period of time, probably, and then claiming it. Pedro, look, I said, family, we got to start paying closer attention, not being distracted, because this right here, $5 million, man, $5 million injected into the agriculture sector, Barbados right now could do wonders, man. Now, this is a pilot program they're running. Ain't a guarantee. And Ndar Weir might not be aware of this. He may not be aware. Ndar Weir might not be aware of what's happening. You know, it sounds good as a proposal unless he has financial interest in this company that was just started less than 10 months ago. I don't know, man. Like I said, family. Like I said, Does it belong? Hold up. Does it belong to in the underwear? I like that, Monica. Well, that's my question. I noticed the page doesn't tell you who the CEO of the company is, though. But I don't know what's going on there. But they're getting a whole lot of paper to come here and do a test. They don't have no record of what they have done before to show the success rate of what they have done. They say, well, we've done this and done that. And again, I think they need a little more transparency on this to the people of Barbados, man. That's just what I'm saying. Greetings to the family up in UK, moms, the matriarch, salute, salute. Sis from another mother, we got to connect. How you doing? Indoor farming is for people who live in cities that don't have no space. But I get you on that, Richard. That's my question. You giving up land. You want to put containers on land and use the sun to harvest electricity to grow food that is less nutrient to feed people. Rather than, and there, listen, anybody who planting these sort of crops on floodlands is not a farmer. They are a fool. Because farmers know how their land flood or don't flood. How the land slope, the gradient of the land, which all crops are better suited for certain lands. So farmers that grow lettuce, that serious about growing lettuce will grow lettuce in an area that they know will sustain themselves properly if the rains were to come. The water run off. They got some different, you know what, man? I don't feel I should be teaching this, man. As a minister, I feel you should know this already. Nobody plant the lettuce on the soft crops in the valley on the basin. Nah, we're not doing that. We ain't put dasheen, edos, but even risk with yams. Maybe. But we ain't doing no lettuce, man. Anyhow. They're taking the agriculture land for housing. You see what he's saying now? You see what he's saying now, man? People paying attention. Imagine Barbados was known as the Garden of the Caribbean. This is a bag. All right, we're going to leave the words out of this. Farming is meant to be in soil, sun, and all the Mother Nature produces naturally and healthy. Yeah, but that food that is grown in those containers, if you check the nutrients in them, you will see lettuce that grown in the sun, lettuce that grow indoors, two different conversations. Two different major conversations, man. And I think at this point, somebody got to call a spade a spade. And Darweer, I don't know if you're aware of it or not, man, but that ain't a good move. This is an insult to our intelligence. A lot of stuff for tonight's program is, I should have called it insult to our intelligence. This is a form of hydroponics. This is a form of hydroponics. Yeah, but the problem with hydroponics is the bacteria in the PVC. After a while, the bacteria that builds up in the PVC is then ingested into the food. But here's another thing, family. Here's another thing. At this level, it makes it easier. In fact, hold on a minute, man. Hold on a minute. Look, hold on a minute. Let me think real carefully. Yeah. Calling my ancestors here to basically guide me into this one. So I just came to mind. Let me go and find it. See, look, this white too, I love, look, copy. Let me open this page here real quick and give you all this. This is worth 5 more minutes, family. Bear with me. Indoor farming. Look how I click on it and it come up here anyhow. Let me paste this. I'm going to give you all this link as well. I'm going to put this link up as well. And I give thanks to the elder that provided this link for me. Let me go ahead and share this page here one time. This is BBC. We go into the BBC. Hold on, Maria. I got you covered. Hang on a second. Let me go to the BBC. Let me go ahead and cut here and see what's going on. All right. You're on the BBC. Let me put this link here. I won't read the whole thing, but y'all could go ahead and check this article out. Go check that article out there. Check what the BBC had to say about this. This is what, and this is only a few years ago. Vertical farming promises a future in which our food is grown in pockets of spaces in our cities and beneath our feet. but how far can it really go? Let me, there was a part of this I was reading, man, that had me like, wait a minute. If we did find a way to overcome the problem of cost and energy use, what would a world, all our food is grown in such forms like this? Now, let me see where you can find it. Supermarkets. Well, the technology shows much promise. Okay. And if you find a way to overcome this problem, oh, no, that's not it. That's not it. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Is this it? There's no strict definition to what a vertical farm is, but they typically consist of shallow trays start with within a building, lit with LED lighting at each level. Many vertical farms have no windows, and some are even built on the ground. These kind of farms must supply everything: water. Okay, these kinds of farms must supply everything: water, nutrients, sunlight, and possibly pollinators and pest control too. Now, here's the thing. Others might be built in massive greenhouses, making the most of the sun's light and heat, but still controlling other inputs like water. While sometimes soil is used, increasingly vertical farmers use hydroponics or aeroponics systems, where water for hydroponics or water vapors for aeroponics infused with nutrients is circulated directly around the roots of the plants. All right, hold on. Okay, I think I missed it. I think I might have missed it. Hold on a second. Let me go back up here and see. Let me see if I missed it out here. Oh, that is price. I want to see this. I want y'all to see this here with tomatoes. Hold on. Hold on. Let me go down. I gonna find it. I want y'all to see that part. And it says, I want to see what it actually says. What it says, man. Cost energy. Many vertical farms. Others might build it. Wait, hold on. Technology can also be crops grown locally, very convenience. Astronauts in space, more generally doing a small amount of land. Vertical farms. All right. I definitely would have missed it in here somewhere. It might have been closer to the top. I don't remember if it was so far down, but it talked about what else could be done with vertical farming. And I know that there are certain folks who I know here. The water efficiency and nutrient efficiency is really quite high in hydroponics and aeroponics because the roots are able to get those nutrients and water in a lot quicker, says Laura Vicker, a plant biologist and head of the urban farming group in Harvard. There's no organic matter. There's nothing else for the plant to compete with, or other extracts from the water. Okay. Here we are. Hold on. Well, so the water aeroponics infused with nutrients. Oh, well, obviously you have to infuse the nutrients, but there was a part that talked about genetically modifying the plants. It makes it easier to modify them. This kind of farm must supply many vertical farms. All right, listen, the link is right there, family. You could go through it, but where exactly the limit of the farms out there? And if you find a way to overcome the problems, cost, energy use over the world where the food growing in such a farm like this could have even more completely soil-free farming, able to limit what is currently available commercially or vertical farmers. Right. So let's see. For those other outlandish prices, highlands a huge challenge for making vertical farming commercially available. Well, the modern concept of vertical farming, growing food and phrases, prices stacked on the water plants language. It's around 98. Could argue that farming in soil, more or less space, less soil. A century step over fruit trees, usually apples and pear trees, are growing in low. All right. Tomatoes, large, and mushrooms, it draws in directly and bunches of. All right. Well, fine, like I said, go read the article and check it out. Because like I said, it talks about modifying food. And first I thought was obviously the fella from across there, the Gates guy that everybody talked about buying up all the farms and stuff like that. But I thought it was interesting too, because like I said, we got to be mindful of how we start consuming and what we're consuming going forward. Just got to be mindful of what we do in family. I think that's the most critical thing. There's some benefits to it, like I said, probably some downsides, and we just need to do some more research. So I'm just saying research. So I just think the ministry need to do a little more research and also invest in the farmers in Barbados, man. I think farmers in Barbados don't get, the fair break that they deserve. I think they get shortchanged, but again, that's my 2 cents. He said, tell this man to read Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verses 17, please. All right, you make a note of this one here. Richard, we make a note of this one here. We're going to bring you in one of these weekends to do a service. Crop thieves can know a better environment to steal veg. Lettuce, peppers, okras, tomatoes should be grown. Government can subsidize farmers. They should be subsidizing farmers. That's what I'm saying. $5 million go a long way in farming, man. It's look like trays on special tables. I telling you, man, this is where we going with this. Ain't no broke, don't fix it comes to mind. If it ain't broke, don't fix it comes to mind. Let us get on with our agriculture as we are more than capable of it. I agree. Totally agree. This vertical farming thing is merely to benefit white folks, not really for blacks. Time for the refund. I don't know, man. I think that money already spent. This guy said he had a meeting in Barbados with they met here months ago. We're hearing about it now, but this isn't a now deal. This deal already been made. Money's been transferred and probably been spent. Why he want to grow food indoors? What is wrong with the outdoors? For years, we people of Barbados was growing food outdoors. This is, Richard, that's why he's saying, Richard, this is something different. They're working on something different. We are being invaded on steroids. It's serious, man. Serious. The European Union gave them that company. Pedro, you might know something I don't know. It's not a farm, it's a lab of artificial madness. Wait till the robots start running the lab. You're going to see what's going on then, because you ain't going to know what happened in that space at that point in time. You might be working in a special environment. We need to have a polygraph to make sure you ain't leaking secrets. Can't tell the people in Barbados what we really doing right now. Upside down, half-ass backwards. Listen, as y'all start, I keep telling you, all these fools were not born the way they were made. All these fools were not born, they were made. Man, this is crazy. I agree with you here. Grow more than 4-acre plots. Then just tell you bears can. I telling you, the man said 18 times he can harvest. I ain't even getting into that. I don't want no food for no vertical farm, period. Those systems were created for cold climate countries. I agree. Totally agree. Invincible man, huh? Where these fools, they are trying to control you. All watch out. Do not trust these people. I dare we need to stick to I dare we need to stick to what he good at, being ignorant. Yo, stop playing, Ivor. Yo, y'all behave, man. I want y'all to behave, man. Okay? And be good. And so many vertical planters on the market. Man, Frankenstein creation come to mind. Plant need photosynthesis to grow greens when it comes from the sun. Well, they're using lights and the light energy because those farms need a lot of energy. Each tray got to have its own light. So they need a lot of light and a lot of energy, I suppose, to get it from solar panels. So it's a big investment, man. Man-made concept of control, man. This is what it is. This is where we at, using climate change as an excuse to punish the farmers who are speaking out about importation and killing them off. Yep. So now we can get the farmers some vertical trays to go plant. Listen, family, go tell a friend to tell a friend. Be up out of here shortly. Imagine we build a pyramid and end up in this madness. Our ancestors must be horrified. We got to restore the legacy, though. We're going to make bees redundant. Wow, Maureen, that's deep. I didn't even look at it like that. But imagine you do all this indoor farming and artificial pollination. What you're saying is that we don't need bees. That's why I'm telling you that they plan to put machines in this. You go look up vertical farming and see. Look up vertical farming and robots and AI. They don't need humans to run. So they need humans to put them in place. But as they get up and functioning, we don't need you. Do as I say, not as I do. They won't be eating this. I telling you, man. Shout to you, Empress. Greetings to you too. Ross, I must have missed it. Near the benefits for the public is silent. Homicide. Man, he said near the benefits for the public. Well, the benefits is that, you heard the man said, you will have 18 harvests of lettuce, romaine lettuce to be specific, another lettuce accordingly. I'm going to start with lettuce. And let us wait and see how the public would benefit. It would mean that you have, in fact, this going to cost more because this, first of all, you know, it's lettuce you got to grow to recoup $5 million. I mean, hold on a minute. Don't get me wrong. As an initial investment, $5 million. Pedro, you know how much lettuce you got to grow? Somebody worked out for me, man. If lettuce selling at $3, I mean, what lettuce going at these days? If lettuce is sell at $3 a head, well, first of all, how much romaine lettuce is sell for? I don't know. Somebody tell me. How much romaine lettuce is sell for? What are the comments at? Somebody, Mother Nature is under attack. Facts. I totally agree with that one, man. That's one of them politically incorrect statements, man. But it's a factual statement, man. Definitely. I want somebody to work this out for me, please. Somebody work this out for me. Somebody work it out for me, please. Sean, the herb has too much humans according to them. Listen, so you're suggesting that, Sean, are you suggesting that this is a depopulation strategy? Man, like I said, I did the research on the company. I don't know. I'm not knocking it. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, you know. Anyhow, they said that gentleman passed away, and I had one more thing to show you, and I go and play this and then be out of here. I'm gonna leave this as food for thought. This is gonna be my food for thought for the night. Maureen said, hold on. Lettuce is about $8 a head. Gee, don't bread. You serious? That is news to me. Maureen said, you're talking about local lettuce because the other lettuce real expensive. I not good at math. Okay, well, hold on. We got a price now. So if it's $8 a head, hold on a minute. All right, we got 5 million. All right. Let me do it old school way. Got me scratched. See, gotta rub my brow, man. So if it's 5 million, 5 million divided by 2 will give us 2.5. 5 million divided by 2 give us 2.5. 2.5 divided by a quarter give us 1.2. 1.2 divide that by deduct the same quarter as about 6 something. 6 something. About 6 something. Call it 7. 6 something. We can round it off. About 6 something. So that's about 600. That's over 600,000 letters. That's six. Yeah, about six somebody, because 6 fours is 24. 24 and 24 is 48. So that's 8. 6 is right. So that's about 600,000. Listen, that's over 600,000 letters. Somewhere around that negative words. Somebody work it out for me, man. Hold on a second. $8 ahead. Ivor said, she said is about 8 ahead for Romanian letters. Okay. Well, that's what he's talking about. Ivor said 6.99. 6.99. I don't know if that's the same number I working out, or that's the price. Other is about $4 a bag. Well, he talking about fancy letters. So he Empress, he don't mean the other. He mean the Roman. That's about 600. That's about 600,000. Do you agree? Health is wealth. Then no benefits there. Look, Pedro, Well, Ivor, I started to tell you, this is no longer considered local. This is considered vertical. Local is when it's on the land. Once it's coming from the lab, it can be vertical. So it got to cost more. All that light, all that equipment, you got to recoup that. You got to grow over 600,000 heads of lettuce before you can break even, before you even start to turn a profit. But that doesn't involve probably operation costs. That might be setup costs. That may not be operational costs. That might be the first phase. So we really don't know how much money that Endarway spent on this, because the money was put in place to put this machine in place. I don't know that include operational costs for a year, 2 years, 3 years, the entire that part. As always, transparency, Miss Motley. What happened to the transparency bill? When I'm rushing all these different bills, what happened to the transparency? You want to tap your phones? You want to see what we're doing? How that one sound? Look, we out of here, family, man. Let us wait and see what's going on. It might be the mRNA letters. That way, that Bill Gates want to pamper with. Listen, don't be surprised if this how the vaccine coming in the future. Let us wait and see. Anyhow, like I promised, one more video before the night is out. So the gentleman passed away, and I realized now that this individual now is who's taking the spotlight for all these different. He's the new candidate in the worst job in the force. Well, the service, or whatever they call themselves these days. Whatever they call themselves. You know, there's some people who are fit for position. You know, there's some people who are actually fit for position.
This morning, we'll be destroying 271 firearms. These firearms range in caliber from .22.
Let me play that again.
21. This morning, we'll be destroying 271 firearms. These firearms range in caliber from .22.
200 and something firearms. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I would like to think that they would have shown the public the weapons that the 200 and something firearms they claim they're destroying, because I don't even know. These look like they took these from the Wild Wild West.
Up to 12 gauge shotguns. Now, these firearms came into the possession of the police as a result of persons being placed before the court and convicted, and as a result of police carrying out searches throughout Barbados. The use of firearms indiscriminately will cause lives So our aim is to rid the street of all firearms.
Let me play that again.
And as a result of police carrying out searches throughout Barbados, the use of firearms indiscriminately will cause lives. So our aim is to rid the street of all firearms.
They say firearms, in the streets cause lives. So the aim is basically to rid the streets of all firearms. Now, this is the thing. This is where I tell you this is real disingenuous, because this is how you know, right, that this is a joke, man. Because yes, I agree that a firearm in the hands of anybody who have wrong intentions is going to commit or going to violate somebody else in some capacity. But to rid the streets, I suppose what he meant was firearms that are in the hands of young men who are, for lack of a better term, illegal, which basically means that we have not given you the right to have a weapon. We have not given you the right to have a weapon. Although many Barbadians do have firearms. I mean, many people in Barbados have firearms. It's not illegal. It's not illegal to have a firearm. It's illegal if we didn't give you permission, quote unquote. So let me get this straight. The police have a right to defend himself in his line of work that is faced with these so-called criminals that leave the police so fearful. Imagine the police is fearful. The police have a vest on. He has a gun. He's surrounded with other people who has a vest and have guns, and in some cases, fully automatic weapons, but they're fearful. But you, the citizen at home, by yourself in your house, you ain't got a right to have a gun to protect yourself and your family. They need to rid the streets of these guns, because so many guns are in the streets, in the hands of criminals committing such crimes, that we need to change the Tint law to make sure police are more comfortable. Miss Martley, make it make sense, man. You telling me that a police officer who's trained, has on a vest of armor, some sort of protection, has a weapon on his side of his hip, surrounded by other people who are clad equally the same way, and in some clad even heavier artillery, they're afraid. But you home by yourself with no police around you, people getting invaded, can't even play dominoes and listen to love music outside, getting robbed. A father and a son, may that young man travel in peace as well to the ancestral realm. That happened yesterday. I think I heard yesterday also. A father and son closing their business can't have a weapon as well to secure their premises and their business. Me business folks in Barbados who engage in cash and large sums of cash, any level of cash for that matter, can't protect themselves. You kidding me? Rid the street. This guy right here. Who's this guy? What's this guy's name, man? What was his name? Hold on a minute, man. I want to go. Let me just go along quick, man. Let me just scroll down here real quick. The pot calling the kettle black. I see that one. Ryan. Oh, Ryan. No, hold on. Ryan Braffett is his name. Okay. Ryan Braffett. The pot called the kettle black. I like that one for sure. You telling me that people, the same way the police are afraid of the criminals, right? That they need to get laws put in place. Barbadians need to have better access to protecting themselves as well. It's either none for all or some for all. It can't be some for some and the rest cause stress. People getting their homes invaded under false pretense, but somebody need help. No. Something ain't right. You want to rid the streets. Look, anybody who trying to disarm you is trying to control you here. Bottom line. You want to rid the streets of guns. Is either no guns for nobody in Barbados, for nobody, period. Can't be 2 set of laws or 3 set of laws, man. Come on, family. Something ain't right. Bare old guns that don't work from the beginning of your guns no charge. I don't know. Oh, from the bringing your guns no charge. Yeah, I remember that, Ivor. I got you covered. This is bare old guns that are not working from bringing your guns no charge. Yeah. They claim they destroying all these different. Wait, show the people you destroying, man. Transparency again. They can't show you Everything is secret. Everything is secret. They had a whole display table, let the media come in and take the whole footage, everything, and record the whole process in the time, not in a 5-minute clip when inside a room pressing 2 things on that machine. Even as something else, man. Here, insulting the people intelligence, man. Insulting. Actually, what they do is show yourself. That's all y'all be doing is showing yourself, man. Y'all feel Barbadians foolish, right? Y'all in for a rude awakening here. I telling one, man. Telling one, let them people fool with them, man. Only the big shots have firearms, while the small business people are easy targets with nothing to protect themselves. The low-hanging fruit, man. I believe that last I heard somebody else was on a light. This don't make no sense, man. Don't make no sense. They went for the young man, chained his head, a scuffle ensued, and then shots rang out. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. All I say in his family, Mr. Ryan Braffett. Man, don't even start me, man. Them guns look real old. Some of them don't look like them working. Some look like they come from Laurie Dash, quite frankly, but none of my business. All about surveillance. Can't see you behind the dark screen. Yeah. I wonder when they come to your house, what they gonna do? Because the house got windows with curtains up. That's why I want to know. When the same police come to your house at 3:30 in the morning and start fiddling with your lock at the front door that has up curtains and they can't see, I wonder if they're gonna be afraid then that somebody defy the law of gravity and pick them off the feet. Because I don't understand the thinking. So for now on, you can't have curtains on your front door unless you got to have sheer curtains where you can see in the house. Is that what it is? It don't make sense unless you read between the lines. It's about giving more police powers. Family, man. Guns for all or no guns at all. They don't like when I say that, though. I know they don't like it. Question how these guns get into Barbados. The government think that people born big come again. Look, I can tell you right now, man, it ain't even the guns coming in at the issues, no. Black against black, bad mind, right? Miss Aline, I give thanks for you tuning in. Ryan Braffett is a big criminal for years. Wow. You might got to put him on the polygraph test there. Miss Motley, we got one for the lie detector test, apparently. Perhaps he's more fit for the job than the brother that passed away. I don't know, but I saw that pain in that brother's face, man, that day he gave that report that morning. Want to stress that man to his grave, man. Unfortunately, man, y'all owe the family compensation for the works he would have done. Like, real serious, man. That is crazy. Anyhow, I didn't even play the rest of that clip. I just want to play that first part right there. That ain't make no sense. We want to rid the streets. I understand a lot of young people right now got their hands on a lot of weapons. A lot of young people ain't got no shoes, ain't got no food, running around doing bare foolishness. Guess what? This is the monster y'all created. Y'all created these monsters. Now deal with them. These young people ain't like this on their own accord. Y'all know what's going on. They're socially engineered. It is abnormal behavior for all young men to behave like this, all young women to behave like this. Yes, I made a statement a while ago about mothers burying their sons and holding their bellies. Yes, Mr. AG, you need to step down. But I also forget that mothers are also holding their bellies because they're burying their daughters as well. Daughters as well. And I thanks that one there, family, because the truth is we're losing too many young people left, right, and center. And these folks don't have no clear objective as to what to do. So I'm going to respond to that message I received from that individual who know who I'm referring to. And I'm going to reach out and let me do this thing, because shout out to BNC again, Pedro. The people's government. That what's going on. The government of the people, by the people, for the people, of the people. So look, I in fact, let me say this before I go. What time is it? 2:30 or 2:22? 2:22. I out of here, man. That wasn't the plan. That was the plan. Family, thanks y'all for staying in. Sorry for keeping y'all up so late. You know, tell a friend to tell a friend. Boy, I tell you, never a dull moment. Yes, And Pedro, yes, I got the politically incorrect mugs, man. Yes. I got the politically incorrect mugs, man. My number on the screen, man. Pedro, if you want one, shop me, man. Plug you in. I plug you in. Anyhow, family, y'all have a peaceful, restful evening. Stay focused, stay alert. I'll see y'all for, God's willing next week. We going to connect. We going to connect. This weekend supposed to be what they call Father's Day. Fathers, we need to do more to secure our families. That father right now is in the hospital fighting for his life while the family make plans to bury the son. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, this right here is, imagine if the police are fearful and they fully clad, what we supposed to like sitting ducks. Anyhow, good night, everyone. Good night to you too, family. Great rest. Have a peaceful night's rest, family, or sleep, whichever you go and do, or meditation, or travel. I tell you, happy meditation, happy travels, because when you close your eyes, you leave this realm and go to the next. So happy travels, safe travels, wise travels, family. When we say happy Father's Day, be fathers all day, every day. Straight up. Straight up. We salute every day. And we need to do a program on this, though, but we're going to get to it. I don't even know what tune to play tonight behind this one here, family, because, like I said, I had some other stuff to play, man, but like I said, I saw the grief in that man's face, man. That when I revisit that touched me. The one last, okay, I'll give you one last one. One more. Just one more. Just one more. Just one more. Only because of the importance of this. It's only 2 minutes, family, so bear with me. Bear with me. And light to fathers and light to what's going on. Let me just give you this one more. And this is why we need to have this conversation, family. All right? Now, this is at this school down the road. Again, man, salute to the teachers, but the schools need help, family.
We're made aware of the situation at the school earlier today of violence against teachers once again, where a teacher was struck by a student. Since that time up to now, when I'm speaking to you, there have been 4 separate incidents at the school, students on students. Now, the minister did make a statement yesterday regarding zero tolerance when it comes to violence in schools. I believe that the time now, if it hasn't come before, where the public has seen the seriousness and the nature of these incidents, that you have to agree, this has to stop. No one wants to come to work to be fearful if they're going to have a safe day. Everyone wants to have a good day at work. Everyone assumes that we will have a safe day at work. Some of us, however, it is a luck and chance situation, and it shouldn't be. The teachers of the Frederick Smith Secondary School are frustrated. They are fed up. They think enough is enough. There must be some firm intervention where the school is concerned, where the other schools are concerned. It is across the system. It is even within the primary schools where we have these instances of students versus teachers or students against teachers, where there are acts of violence. We would like the Ministry of Education to firmly act on such instances, because it is not fair to the teachers, it's not fair to the other students to have to come to school, to come to work in conditions such as these, having to run in fear because of such acts of violence.
Such acts of violence being displayed by students towards their teachers. Welcome to the new Barbados family. Welcome. All I'm going to say, right, family, is, let me Go ahead and clear this slate right here real quick and put this up, man. Bishai, I don't know if you're watching still, Bishai, but Bishai came to mind. I can drop this tune right here, man. You know what I'm saying? Apparently the child was aiming at someone else, not at the teacher, but the teacher became collateral damage. Again, regardless of who it was intended for, it damaged someone regardless. People keep, over every minute, a load of vehicles, accidents. Some I've heard fell asleep behind the wheel. That ain't new. Pedro said that ain't new. I suppose the amount of incidences is what he's referring to. Because yes, Pedro, I went to school too, I didn't forget. But I know that it wasn't as, then again, we didn't have social media, so I don't want to say it wasn't as common back then. But I suspect things have changed a bit, Pedro. We can't say that this ain't new. Perhaps the level, like the same accidents happening, people dropping asleep behind the wheel or having strokes or whatever, that's new. Things ain't been so, it wasn't so frequent before. Something has changed, Pedro. Let's not be in denial about it. But I'll tell you what, though, this is my message to the AG, the prime servant, all these different legislations and the vertical forming and whatnot. Haile Selassie I, Empress Wazir Menin, one perfect balance. You'll have a peaceful and restful evening. Enjoy the weekend and make it strong. Make your strong, make the weekend strong. You feel me? Yeah, bottom line. Bishai.
Fox News alert millions of American families. Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for CBS.
Done one step ahead of them.
One step ahead, man.
Them want make a better again. Them
steps ahead of them, man.
watch how we step when we walk.
Steps ahead of them.
Lyrics them a menace. Happy leave them.
BNC.
Long time ready for the Gideon. Yeah, this
BNC, man.
Babylon a ball in a crevice.
Barbados National
We
Congress.
don't want nothing from Babylon.
Be good.
No satisfied till flames take Vatican. Slave master vanish like magician. Him no ease up, he no dirty politician.
No dirty politician, man. All I pull out for the top, man. Just for the top, man.
Millions of American families. Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for CBS.
Done one step ahead of them. If them want make a better again, them a go fall like. Watch how we step when we walk in. Lyrics them a menace. Happy leave blemish. Long time ready for the Gideon. Yeah, this I call it Babylon a ball in a crevice. We don't want nothing from Babylon. No satisfied till flames take Vatican. Slave master vanish like magician. Him no ease up, he no dirty politician. Snakes in the grass where them waiting on. Said them a take orders from England. Pussy never know we African. Can't take we out of the motherland. See them a get frightened when warriors are past.
Them frightened, man. See the warriors and the youths.
Keep pushing till I
Youths is scared the more, you know.
knees never buckle.
But the no-go get scared, man.
No things help on the black
Market.
everything white them a say Christ want check. Check in a Christ them a them want it. Wipe out flat line wherever them step. Watch them a set another black target.
Black targets, man.
The belly of the beast start trek. One trip we from them up a city progress.
Want to trick the people.
What that catch up
Want to see me making progress.
want nothing from
Want to new laws and regulations.
no satisfied till
The advancement.
Vatican. Slave master vanish like
Not this generation, though.
ease up in no dirty politician.
And for rude awakening.
In the grass where them waiting on. Said them a take orders from England.
I'm a Gideon time, man.
So we African.
I'm a Gideon time, man.
Can't take we out.
Prophecy fulfilling, man.
Come with them illusions to face. Never make solutions, no way.
Ain't got a clue, man.
That time so crucial, yeah. Time get brutal, yeah. More time them talk empty. And no even else can tempt me. Nothing in the world them can tell me. Me just a glance to Babylon plenty.
Fire.
Good over evil at the war.
Fire.
Night till a morning them get chant.
Fire.
Sword and a shield all imposter fear.
Fire.
From long time iniquity of
Fire.
you must think that we fall.
Fire.
Nothing nice come out of Babylon.
Fire.
Them dirty hypocrite me just can't take. Babylon a listen up it change dial.
Record that, man.
Want nothing from Babylon. No satisfied till flames take Vatican.
Well, let's record this way here, man.
Like magician.
Record this, man.
Raise up in no dirty politician.
Fire.
Snakes in the grass where them waiting on. Said them a take orders from England. Pussy never know we African. Can't take we out of the motherland. So call in your messenger. You have to listen this your message, yeah. The fight is spiritual, not physical. And Babylon I do the typical. So call in your messenger. You have to listen this your message, yeah. The fight is spiritual, not physical. Oh, yeah. Burning higher.
Burning fire.
Raise it higher.
Blaze it, fire.
Banner wave higher. Consciousness higher.
Consciousness, family. Raise the vibration, family.
Burning higher. Fire blaze.
Raise the fire, family.
Higher. Flame it higher. Banner wave higher. Consciousness higher.
Tell them, family. Tell them what time it is, family.
We don't want nothing from Babylon. No satisfied till flames take Vatican. Slave master vanish like magician. We no ease up, we no dirty politician. Snakes in the grass where them waiting on. Said them a take orders from England. Pussy never know we African. Can't take we out of the motherland. We don't want nothing from Babylon. No satisfied till flames take Vatican. Slave master vanish like magician. We no ease up, we no dirty politician. Snakes in the grass where them waiting on. Said them a take orders from England.
He vanished.
Pussy never know we African. Can't take we out of them.
African, man. We Africans. We can do all things through Christ. We can do all things through the Creator who created us. Rastafari.